Good morning. It is 11:30 on a Friday at Pediatric Partners. So, of course, you all know it's time for a Facebook Live. Today is November 6th, I believe. And today we're going to talk a little bit about some development and mental health, emotional health during the pandemic. I'm Dr. Jennifer Mellick. I'm a pediatrician here at Pediatric Partners, and I wanted to share a couple of things with you guys before I get started a little bit about development. I think everybody has reached mental fatigue, I would say, with this pandemic. It is lasting a long time. It has changed everyone's way of life, and now we're heading into a season where we're moving back indoors, and we are having to contemplate how we are going to celebrate some holidays this year. We just celebrated, I guess, if you want to call it that, Halloween, and we are seeing some of the side effects, I guess, from that particular holiday. So I'm just going to share a little bit about what we're seeing here at Pediatric Partners with our numbers of COVID. So we initially started collecting tests or sending people for testing in June. So it was June 24th. And I'm able to run the numbers, and I kind of keep track of this on about a weekly basis to see what we are seeing here. So in total, since June 24th, we have tested 595 patients. Of those 595, we've had 41 positives. That is a positive rate of 6.9%. So I think I've mentioned these numbers before, and obviously that total percent is going to change if we keep looking at the entire time we've been testing. So it's been going up. I think when we initially reported it was in the range of about 3.9 to 4.1%. So that's our overall total. It's going up. And what we're seeing is that we are seeing an increase in the number of positive tests and the number of cases of COVID in the last month to 2 weeks particularly. So this past 2 weeks, we have tested 135 patients, and of that we have had 14 positives. So that is a percent positive rate of 10.4. The 2 weeks preceding that, so it was probably about the middle 2 weeks of October, we tested 109 patients, and we had 8 positives, which is a positive rate of 7.3. So as you can see, we've seen a spike. And I think that makes sense given what we're seeing. We're seeing, football games. We're seeing the end of soccer championships. I'm hearing a lot of these kinds of things that are happening. We're bringing our kids back inside. They all went trick-or-treating, and we're actually a little too early to see any effects of what happened with trick-or-treating. And I just want you all to understand that this is not coming from us with our recommendations of make wise choices from a place of judgment of any sort. We're all tired too. We miss our friends. We miss our families. But I just want you all to have this data so that you can make some informed decisions about what you're going to do with your families as you guys go forward into this very busy holiday season. Of course, the stores think it's Christmas season. We always skip Thanksgiving, but I just want you to have this information. So, you may consider doing things differently this year. Do Zoom Thanksgiving. Maybe consider everybody sort of quarantining if possible for as much as they can before you bring everybody into the home where we're breaking bread and carving turkeys or faux turkey, whichever. Had a really good one last year from Trader Joe's, by the way. It was excellent. Highly recommend if you are vegan. But anyway, so I just wanted you all to have that information. The other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about, and if anybody has questions, I can see a couple people are watching. Please try to throw them out there, and I'm happy to try to answer them. I think I can see them scrolling across my screen. Is that we're seeing kind of an interesting trend. I think we have all been dealing with this pandemic for a little over 6 months now. And as you all know, part of our job at our well visits is to monitor your child's growth and their development. And those are different things, and I think people get them confused. Growth is really how they are gaining weight, growing in height, growing head circumference. And development is how are they gaining the skills that come with each age progression. So we've seen some differences in growth, meaning we've seen some weight gain that has been interesting in some of our older kids because they're more sedentary. So definitely, keep track of your kids' screen time and make sure they're staying active and try to make healthy choices as a family for your diet. But that's nothing different. It's harder. I myself have struggled more with this, but it's not really different. But what we've seen with development has been interesting. With our younger patients, we are seeing more kids with developmental delays, those that are not really meeting all of their developmental milestones at the time that we would expect. So let me give you an example. We are seeing more kids who are not gaining some of their fine motor skills. That's using the fingers or hands to manipulate your environment. And at the visits, we look at fine motor development, gross motor development. That's going to be moving your bodies in a big way. So you're crawling, you're rolling, you're walking, you're sitting. And then we also look at the speech development, which we've seen delays in. And we're seeing delays also in the social emotional development of these kids. This is not new. We see developmental delays all the time, but we're definitely feeling like we're seeing that at an increasing rate. So I was hoping to kind of give you guys some tips to maybe, and resources to maybe help you guys encourage and supplement your child's development at home. We think that this may be related to children being less interactive and our babies not necessarily going to daycares and preschools as much. We definitely know that other children stimulate other children, right? So it's like one toddler sees this toddler doing something and they're like, well, I can do that too. And obviously as parents, we are not doing the same things that our children are doing. I don't get down on the ground and roll. Well, rarely. I don't crawl around my home. So our kids are not seeing the same things. So a couple of things, and we'll add some resources to this, but really it's on our website. So if you need resources, I'll show you some places to go. But probably the best thing that you can do to enrich your child's overall development is to talk and read to them. And I know that sounds crazy, but I know that our phones definitely have an impact on our lives. I mean, I myself sometimes find myself at home with my kids in the same room as me, and they're doing this and I'm doing this. So we're not interacting with each other. So we need to make sure we all put our phones down. Read to your children. Those that can't read yet to themselves, read to them. This is part of why we have this program at our office called Turn a Page, Touch a Mind, where your child gets a book at each well visit starting at 6 months through their 5-year visit. We want to help increase your libraries at home so that you guys can read these books to your kids. But if you don't want to read and you're busy, because you know what, you guys are busy at home, I'm busy at home, talk to your kids about what you're doing. I mean, you may feel like a crazy person and you're talking to yourself, but you're not. You're cooking dinner. I don't recommend holding your infant while you're cooking dinner because that can burn them or they can have issues with that. But put them in the kitchen with you and tell them, okay, it's time to make dinner tonight. We're gonna have spaghetti. So this is Daddy's favorite meal. he really likes it when I make meatballs, but I don't really have time for that. So we're just going to open a jar of sauce. Did you see this sauce? It's red. Isn't that cool? So this is the kind of stuff, and I know it doesn't seem like that makes a huge difference, but it does. So reading to your child, talking to your child, that's huge. The other thing that I will tell you is, I just cautioned you about this for you. This is my phone. This for you guys in your homes. But your infant and toddler doesn't necessarily have to have a pretend device. And they certainly don't need yours very often. Well, they don't really need yours at all. What they need is to get down on the ground. And they need to play with things. And this doesn't have to be toys. This can be things that are safe for them to play with in your home. My kids' favorite activities when they were little involved my Tupperware cabinet, some wooden spoons, and pots and pans. They liked cooking. They liked banging. They liked making noise or music, as we called it at the time. We sang, we danced. I'm a terrible dancer, but they enjoyed it then. Now I embarrass them. They're teenagers and above. So get moving with your children. Walkers are not necessarily something we recommend. They can get kids to places that that they can get into trouble, either stairs where they fall down. I've seen a child pull an iron that the parent had unplugged but was still hot onto themselves and burn themselves. I've seen scissors gotten to when they shouldn't. So if you're going to do a walker, make sure that you're paying attention and you're in the room with them. Have them do to cause and effect toys. Those are always fun. The toys where you have to put something in a sort, or you push a button and something pops up. So those are good things for little kids. For your toddlers, allow them to make a mess. Get them some Play-Doh. Let them play with clay. Let them color. You guys are so much luckier. You have all of these washable markers and washable crayons. I was left with, regular markers, regular crayons, and the Sharpie that my oldest got, and decided to go through our house and put an X on everything that she wanted that was hers. That was fun. By the way, Mr. Clean Magic Erasers took that off almost everything, thank goodness. But let them make a mess. Give them pudding to play with, and let them write their letters in it on a cookie sheet, or shaving cream. This is fun. Get them involved in the stuff that you're doing. If you're baking, let them help measure something, especially as they get a little bit older into like those school age years. There's lots of things that they can do to help. If you have to clean the house, give them a rag and let them clean too. Yes, you're probably going to have to go behind them and pick everything up, but hopefully that will encourage them to be active and to learn to use their fingers. So those are just some ideas for the littler kids, and don't necessarily need to spend a ton of time on this because some of this is intuitive, but if you are interested in more resources, you have some on our website, and I'll show you in a minute. I also want to encourage you all to, with your children, pretty much no matter what the age, be nosy. I am a nosy parent. I am a parent that wants to know where my kids are. I want to know what they're doing, especially with their online things. I'm seeing a ton of kids. We are all seeing a ton of kids here who are struggling with anxiety and depression and cutting and emergency trips to the ER or mental health admission programs because of the way they're struggling. This is important. They do not need privacy online. I'm sorry, they just don't. There is no privacy online anyway. So know what they're doing. Search out their history. Make it so they can't erase that. Set limits on their time. Ask them what they like. Know what apps they're using. Because they're talking about this. And I'm not saying I am perfect, but again, I'm tired and my kids are definitely online more, and that's the reality. I'm not a perfect parent by any stretch. But we want to make sure that we are keeping our kids safe, because we are prescribing so much more medication for depression and anxiety and ADHD. And a lot of this is uncovering things that were maybe already there, but our environment does play a role in this. So just be nosy and ask questions. Studies show that our kids want to share this stuff with us, and they don't always know how. So ask them the question. And if you don't know how to deal with the answer, ask us. That's what we're here for. I deal with this every day. So I just want to make sure your kids are safe and they're as happy as they can be in this very strange world we're living in right now. So that was really kind of the main things that I wanted to share today, but I will show you a little bit here of some of the resources that we have. I'm going to try to share my computer screen because I can't figure out how to share my screen that I'm talking on. So I'm going to flip you all around if I can figure that out. Let's see. All right. So this here is our Pinterest page, and it is just our Pinterest page about development. We've got things about ADHD and how to keep yours involved in different online resources in school. So this is a place, and obviously this is probably make it better if I'm trying to not shake, but I think the computer camera is terrible. Anyway, this is a final page. 0 to 3, an active resource that you do. There's simple ways to attain their treatment. There's activities and my suggestions. Interestingly, we're having our kids develop skills at home because a lot of them are not necessarily utilizing this as they used to. So a lot of different resources on our Pinterest. Move back. I think I can show this is the overall Pinterest page. There's a lot of stuff. There's education and exercise and sports, feeding and nutrition, safety, sleep, parenting, mental health. So all different places to go. I got here our website right here. And I got to the development by using search here at the, I don't know, see you go here and putting in development. Pulled up the page here that has all kinds of different in there. You got bright futures, speed development, you have and highlights, parent treatment, and role. Let's see if I can make it. You have bright future different is how to connect community friends for and how to navigate that. So the different things you can look there. You scroll all the way down. I think our page we do this quick here, and our pediatric partner is to our page. There's also some other great links. Dr. Shep writes a blog every so usually I think monthly about kind of different things that says, and if any of you are so inclined, you can leave a review. So I'm going to flip, make you sick moving, but just some ideas for you guys to keep your kids busy at home and have them continue to progress developmental milestones. For the older kids, those developmental milestones are often milestones that are going to help them be successful as they grow up and move out of your home. How to navigate, social things with their friends. But again, just be nosy. And we keep recommending hand washing and wearing masks, and we are here for you. So we're testing. If you need something, we're here to help you navigate through all of this. All right, everybody have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully we'll continue with some good weather. and give us a call or send us a message if you guys are needing anything. Be well.